Hey Team YouTube, just going to do a quick video on replacing some parts for a Genesis Silver B grill. I've got three things I'm going to do. I'm going to do the flavor bars, going to do the burners, and I'm also going to do the igniter. Okay, this is the igniter right here. Kind of busy today, so everything is just a hodgepodge. But we'll get going here. Okay, Team YouTube, this is the Genesis B from Weber, and or Silver, yeah, whatever it's called. But either way, if your grill looks like this, this is it. So a new grill comparable to this one's about 600 bucks, and I'm like, I'm not feeling that. So I said I'm going to spend $130 and replace the important parts. Okay. This is the style of grill that the burners run lengthwise down the grill. So if you stand in front of the grill, you know, modern grills are going to have the switches up here. On this one, they're over here. So let's get into how you replace the burners here. Okay, so first and foremost, the thing that's going to cause people problems is right here. I took a grinder and I ground off some screws. And these are just seized in there. There's no way anybody's going to get those out unless your grill is much newer. These, Weber Silver grills were made from about 2002 to about 2006. Like I say, I just used a Dremel with a grinder on it. So either way, let's talk about what you need to disconnect to get everything put back in. Okay, there are two screw posts. One here, one here. I just took those out so this whole thing is a little looser, but now I see it, it doesn't really look like that does all that much for you. But the grill pieces, they come in, there's one, and there's a second one here, and a third one over there. These literally are just put in, it's not even by friction, it's just put in loose. The idea is that these, the propane flows from the tank up the tube into this channel here, and that's how it gets into the burners. Okay, the old burner has a little cover here and a mesh screen on it. It looks like this is kind of the preset. If you look at it, it's about a, I guess I would call it maybe a pinky's width of screen showing. That looks like that's the proper adjustment for a, you know, I guess that's what you'd call that maybe an air-fuel ratio, but the screen here, I guess, is a bug screen, is what they call it. But either way, the big thing for my grill is the crossbar here was literally just rusted, corroded apart. So the idea is that you take these and you push them up from the hole into the grill, and then you lay them down, okay? And this whole assembly here, you just kind of put it together. You can see how it goes. This middle tube here, it faces up and it shows how this goes together. This cross tube here is above the part here, and these are literally, the holes make it so this is kind of what I would call pokey-oked. It's almost impossible to put this together incorrectly, but this whole assembly, as you can see here, kind of just lifts up and sets in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a self-tapper into those, or a self-drilling screw into those holes. So we'll see how that goes. Scratch that. We're going to do that self-drilling thing last. We're going to make sure everything fits and works before we run those self-drilling screws in. This piece here is from the igniter. As you can see, it's all just literally just almost corroded away. So it would probably, it still works just fine. I thought while I'm in here, I might as well do it. So it's pretty simple. The idea is that what you do is you take the, see, here's the new one. It's a wire on the end, and then you take that upper tab and you fold that up after you put it in the grill. Okay, gang, just with a couple of, or a set of slip jaw pliers, here we go. I've kind of got this formed up, and I'm liking it here now. Let's just go ahead and drop it in. Go this way first, and just kind of, it's always easier off camera. Just like that, and then finish bending that tab up to about, the upper tab up to about 90 degrees. Alright, Team YouTube, I'm not going to lie, that was actually pretty difficult. You have two detents on this side, two detents on this side. You essentially just have to get those detents pushed back in to pry this thing out. I just used a screwdriver, whatever, and there is the push button. So we're going to go ahead and get that changed out with the new one. All right, the old and the new. The black wire goes in the center. The white one here is on a terminal on the side. So let's go ahead and get that put in. And you can see here, again, slots for the detents. I'm just going to go ahead, I believe, and push that in from the top. Let's see what happens. Actually, let's just take it through the side here and see if that works. Doing stuff on camera. Let's stop the camera. So we have the detents here. Those need to get lined up and just push in the holes. It would go in this way into the grill with this lined up that way. You'll see the breaks in the hole where those line up. Then you just have this push button, and it just gets inserted and pushed back on. So yeah, off camera. Okay, make sure the push button switch is lined up with the little there's little dowels on this outer plastic part. Make sure it's lined up, and then there we go. We got our igniter push button ready to go. Let's hook up the wires. Okay, I may have too aggressively bent this lower tab of the hole where that the ceramic element is supposed to go through is not lining up very well, so let's give it another shot. Hey Team YouTube, there's a little slotted hole for that lower tab that goes through, so don't bend that as aggressively as I showed. I don't think really you maybe even bend it at all, but there is the ceramic, the spark maker and igniter, and then trace it up here and up to, here's that bottom part of there. You got the white terminal going on the side and the black terminal going up through the middle. We're gonna fire this up before we put the new flavorizer bars in. All right, Team YouTube, look at that beautiful blue new flame. Just for the camera, we're going to turn on the back burner here. And there goes. Woo! God, I love that. All right, and that's a beautiful blue new flame like I have not seen for a while, because those old burners bars were so bad. I was getting a lot of orange. Of course, for combustion, you don't want that. But oh God, that looks nice. Man, we got some brats ready to go to break in the new flavor bars. Hey guys, one thing I did notice, you see how this is supposed to be kind of a rectangular shaped piece of metal? Well, look over here. The burner and the igniter cover are, you can see how that actually tends to degrade over time, because the burner is hitting that top part of the cover for the igniter. That's very interesting. I would say that might be what I would call a design defect from the factory, but I'm not going to complain about it because the thing only lasts, and it still worked, like what, 14 years, so, there's a minimum amount of complaining I could do, and that thing was whatever it was. I'm going to look at the receipt just to share it with all y'all in a bit. All right, we're going to take these stainless steel parts, the wing nuts and the stainless steel washers, lock washers, and we're going to put them back under the unit. All right. There's the two wing nuts. One here, one there. Like I say, I don't even know if I really even had to remove those. The old parts just kind of jiggled and worked themselves out. Wasn't a big deal. And the flavor bars are now in. This is this set of the actual Weber's, the brand. And these are better, I believe, than the originals. Here are the originals, in that they have the ceramic coating on them. Maybe the original ones came with ceramic coating, but I find no evidence of that right now. But grills have gotten really better in the last 10 years or so with those ceramic coated grates and whatnot. Personally, I don't own one, but I'm getting closer. Alrighty, here we go. So the igniter kit was 14. The sheet metal screw that I'm gonna, the self drillers right here that I'm gonna use to hold down the burners. Those were $1. The burner set was $55, and then the flavorizer bars were $50. So people say, well, you've got what, $130 into this? I looked at a new grill, and they have sheet metal grills, and I'll get to what I mean by sheet metal in a second. For $400 new for about the same size, But for the smallest Weber, and this is not an endorsement of Weber necessarily, but I'll just say the reason I wanted to stick with the Weber, the cheapest one, which was smaller than this silver that I have, was $380. Ooh, it's windy. We're technically just getting done with a tornado warning around here. Fortunately, no tornado, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, Team YouTube, this particular Weber grill, this silver, comes with, that is a cast aluminum feature, I believe is what it is. And then also the lid is cast aluminum. These are not made out of a deep draw, what I call a deep draw formed sheet metal piece. They're actually a cast, and I want to say it's probably aluminum. So in terms of this durability of this particular unit, it's what, 14, 15 years old. And sure, there's a little rust on the frame right here, but the actual grill tub and the lid are still in good condition, and I just don't see the need. If I wanted to really replace this particular grill, it would be round number $600 new at the Home Depot for a genuine Weber replacement for about the same grill area. So I'm 130 bucks in. I consider this a pretty decent investment because this is going to grill just like new. Now, the next thing would be to replace the grates with a ceramic coated grates. As you can see, these here, at least as far as I know, are just a steel grate, and you can see right here they are wearing out. But for what, another 90 bucks, I can have something. And so for $200, I can have something where all of the surfaces, the burners, the flavor bars are essentially new, and this will last, I want to say, years and years and years. So I'm not the best griller, but I do like throwing the steaks, the chicken, the brats, whatever on the grill every so often, sometimes 2-3 times a week. So I use it a lot. I'm not a real aficionado, but I do cook a pretty good steak. Thanks a lot, YouTube, and I might add a few more comments after this, but other than that, I'm signing off. Have a great day. An addendum. Many years ago, I heard that the best way to break in a new grill is to put something greasy on Italian sausages, brats, or whatever, just so you have all that, all the juices and the fat just drip down on your flavorizer bars and give you, a good break-in on the grill. So it's exactly what we're doing here. And these are Johnsonville. What else would we have in the upper Midwest? Postscript. So the tornado warning I mentioned earlier, well, we have a pretty bad thunderstorm, and we have a full rainbow. And if this was a better camera, boy, it would be awesome. Have a great day, y'all.